and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So, once again, India have lost a match from a winning position. Glenn Maxwell, with his heroics with the bat, just cost India the game. But it was not just Glenn Maxwell's great batting, it was more India's poor bowling, aided by some awful captaincy by Suryakumar Yadav. Prasidh Krishna, who keeps on bowling one worst over after the other, keeps on getting selected, and he fails to deliver every single time. When you are defending 21 runs of the last over and you keep bowling all hit me deliveries, then what can you expect? In his 4 overs, he gave away nearly 70 runs. What an awful bowler. He should never be selected for India. That should have been his last game for India. And Surya Kumar Yadav, the kind of lackadaisical attitude as a captain translates onto the fields. A captain should be someone who inspires his players when they are down. And his attitude was like, everything is fine. Bowl another bad ball, keep calm under pressure, everything is fine. Nothing to worry about. That's not what a captain does under pressure. He tries to motivate his bowlers. And you are keeping the field on side and you're bowling on the other side. And what's the plan? What's the strategy behind bowling Akshar Patel in the 19th over? Only God knows and Surya Kumar Yadav knows. Poor captaincy, poor bowling cost India the game. It's a game that India should have never lost. Australia needed 44 runs in 2 overs and India lost the game from there. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe, it's hard to fathom how you can lose a game from that position. And Nishan Kishan made some very poor errors in the second last over. In the 19th over, first, giving away a free hit, collecting the ball before the stumps, and the free hit went for six. And of the very last ball of the over, he couldn't collect it, and it went for a four byes. Still, 21 runs of the last over, and you would think it is India's game to lose. And once again, Prasidh Krishna, when he comes into bowl the last over, all the hopes are on Australia's side because everyone knows that Prasidh has been awful, simply awful as a bowler. Right throughout this series, I don't know on what basis he keeps getting selected game after game. Last match, he conceded 20 runs in his first over. This match, he conceded 16 runs of the first over. Then of the very next over, he went for 15 runs. He was 39 of 2 overs. And in the very last over, he went for nearly 21 more. So what's the use of having a big, lanky, fast bowler who doesn't bowl to his field, who has no confidence in his bowling, is absolutely ridiculous, and who has no idea on how to bowl in pressure situations. If you do not select Umran Malik because he is expensive, how can you select Prasidh Krishna? He has nothing. He has no X factor. The number of games he has lost for KKR when he is playing for that franchise is uncountable, unthinkable. And the most shocking thing is that he hasn't improved. He's on the decline as a fast bowler. And what was the thought process of Surya to have him bowl the last 2 overs after having seen him go for plenty of runs in the beginning? He bowls Arshdeep Singh in the 16th over and leaves 2 overs for Prasidh Krishna right at the end. A bowler who has considered 39 runs of 2 overs will bowl the 20th over and the 17th over, two crucial overs. That's called poor captaincy. Absolute ridiculous captaincy from Surya Kumar Yadav. Absolutely ridiculous captaincy. And this needs to be called out. People shouldn't forget this. When India were batting, Rinku Singh didn't come into bat and Tilak Verma batted. In the last two games, Rinku Singh was phenomenal with the bat and scored runs. Tilak Verma is a overhyped talent. And despite Rinku Singh putting in some match winning performances in both the games, somehow he gets overlooked and Tilak Verma comes into bat before him. And he scores 30 of 23 balls in a high scoring match He scores 30 of 23. Surely that's not enough. Absolutely unnecessary. But having forgotten that, in the bowling department, we should have really won the match with at least 20 runs. Everyone knows that Glenn Maxwell will play all sorts of shots, but there wasn't a single Yorker bowled from the entire Indian bowling unit. And when you are a bowler, when your one bowler is going for plenty of runs, you should somehow look to manage his overs early, and rather than giving him the final 2 overs of the game. That was very poor captaincy from Surya. Absolutely unexpected captaincy. And how can you bowl Akshar Patel in the 19th over with the dew, plenty of dew on the field when Australia were going to go for the jugular, when Maxwell is there in the crease, Matthew Wade is there in the crease, and they would go helter skelter. What's the use of leaving him for the very last? When he was bowling so well, he had given away only 19 runs of his 3 overs. Had he bowled the 16th over and got away with the spell, probably that 20th over, 19th over wouldn't have gone for that many runs. He considered 24 runs in the 19th over, and practically the last 2 overs cost us the game. Maxwell scored a brilliant 100 of 47 balls. That was expected of him. He's in tremendous form right from the World Cup. But he was aided by some very poor bowling and some very poor captaincy. People say that Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli should be dropped from T20 cricket, but who are going to succeed them? Who is going to succeed Rohit Sharma as captain? Neither Hardik Pandya nor Suryakumar Yadav are captaincy material. Given what he did today, Surya isn't captaincy material. His body language sucks. It sucks big time. It's too lazy, too lackadaisical. And he, on top of dropping Matthew Wade or Prasidh Krishna, he's laughing away. What's there to laugh? You just dropped a catch that eventually cost us the game. This kind of attitude from a leader is not befitting at all, and it sets a bad example for the side. You have to motivate the side, not just laugh away at your poor fielding. And once again, India are hampered by the fact that none of their top batters can actually bowl. When one bowler is having a bad day, you can't get away with 1 over from someone else because none of their top batters, neither the older generation nor the new generation, can bowl. That's a huge disadvantage for Team India. Look at all the other top sides. Every single team has players who can actually bowl 1 or 2 overs. New Zealand have plenty of players that can. Look at Glenn Phillips. Look at Australia, for example. Look at Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoinis. They can all bowl. And Travis Head, Mitchell Marsh, they can all bowl. They can all roll their arm over. So when someone is having an off day, they can actually cover up for that. But India, they haven't looked into this. They didn't look into this before. They are not looking into this now. They are picking specialist batsmen. Someone like a Rahul Tewatia, for example, who plays in the IPL, actually can bat and bowl a bit. This is the next thing that India should look to develop, some batsmen who can actually bowl. Tilak Verma can roll his arms over, but what's the use of him not being allowed to bowl even in this match when you have 223 on the board? How many runs will you need when to bowl a part-time off spinner? If you are not going to try him in these situations, in what situations are you going to try him out in? Again, very poor captaincy, very poor strategy from Team India. VVS Lakshman and the coaching staff, what are they doing? It makes no sense. None. India should have wrapped up the series today. Given it's a T20 series that has no importance, India have lost a World Cup, but you need to win games. And if you lose games from such situations, it sends a bad message to the side. Winning is a habit. Now imagine Ruturaj Gaikwad playing that exceptional innings, 123 not out of 57 balls, scoring 30 runs of Maxwell's last over. That was a dismal decision from Matthew Wade as well, bowling Glenn Maxwell in the last over of the innings. Suryakumar Yadav didn't learn from that, and he bowled Akshar Patel in the 19th over and made the same mistake. He made actually Matthew Wade. He made Matthew Wade repent his decision. He actually made him make up for it. Matthew Wade scored 24 runs. Akshar Surya Kumar Yadav actually let Matthew Wade make up for his wrong decision. He didn't learn from that. Maxwell bowling the 20th over, giving away 30 runs. Akshar bowling the 19th over, giving away 24 runs. Two absolutely ridiculous decisions. Ruturaj Gaikwad played an exceptional innings today. India would have not scored 224 on the board. They scored too many runs today, but even that wasn't enough because of India's bowling. With the kind of bowling lineup that India have, no total is enough because these bowlers aren't dependable. Apart from Ravi Bishnoi and Akshar Patel, all the three pace bowlers are not dependable at all. If you give them 250, they will still make a match out of it and make the other team feel that they are continuously in the game. Arshdeep Singh has been very poor. When Travis Head was batting, he was the first three deliveries, they were all outside the off stump. The first one went for a boundary, the next one again he went to the leg side for a boundary. They were not trying to hit the stumps. And once again, India's cap field placing, the third man up from the very first ball. What's the use? He hasn't got his eye in yet. And the first ball Travis had hit, if there was a third man, it would have been a simple catch down his throat. It's a new thing for Team India that they are trying to tamper away with their fielding placements. They are trying to bowl with the field up. Now, bowling with the field up, your bowler also needs to bowl in these areas, but your bowlers are not bowling to this plan. Prasidh Krishna in the very last over, what did he do? He had an offside field, five fielders on the boundary in the offside. And what does he do? First ball of Matthew Wade, he bowls a short pitch ball in leg stump when there is no fielder on the leg side boundary, and Wade gets an easy boundary of the very first ball. So there is no communication between the bowler and the captain. And once again, India failed to finish their 20 overs in this stipulated amount of time. And so in this match, that cost them as well. Because there was an extra fielder brought in and there were only four fielders out on the boundary. And that also cost India the game. Taking too much time on the to set fields, taking too much time to change bowlers, after each ball, the captain has to come up and devise a plan, set the field, go from this side to that side. If you can't complete your over within the stipulated amount of time, then this will happen. This is one game where absolutely India felt the brunt of that. India lost the match because of that. They couldn't place extra fielders on the boundary. If they had extra players on the boundary, the first ball of Wade wouldn't have gone for a four. Even the boundary that Maxwell hit, that full toss, he could have been held out in the deep. These are small things, but these small things cost India the game at the very end. When these mistakes keep on accumulating, you end up losing the game. And India, once again, they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. This has been India's problem for a very long time. Somehow they keep on managing to lose from winning situations. And they have a habit of taking things for granted. The match is not over until the last ball is bowled. And especially when you have a player like Glenn Maxwell at the crease, you can never relax. And India should be shooting themselves on the foot right now. Prasidh Krishna should have played his last game for India. He shouldn't be selected anymore. But unfortunately, India will again play him in the very next match as well. He doesn't pick up wickets. He gives away runs in the power play. He gives away runs in the end. What's the use of selecting him? He has his very body language, the very look of him. It gives the opposition the advantage. They feel confident when you're seeing a guy like Prasidh Krishna coming into bowl. When Maxwell was batting, he had fine leg up and Maxwell was ready because he knows that he will bowl a short pitch delivery. Such is the level of IQ of this fast bowler. When he was playing for KKR, he used to do this regularly, and teams eventually figured him out. Now it's international cricket, not franchise cricket, and there are plenty of analysts doing their job. They have probably seen Prasidh Krishna doing this over and over in the IPL. So Maxwell was ready. He was ready for whatever he bowls. He was ready for the short delivery. And in these games, in these close games, you can't give away free hits. Today, India bowled two no balls, and both of the free hits disappeared for sixes. These are small things, but these cost India the game. And Ishan Kishan has to improve his keeping as well. He's very poor down the leg side. The last ball of Akshar Patel in the 19th over should have been stopped, and that went for a boundary down the leg side. That went for four byes. If that was there, Australia would have needed 25 runs of the last over. I'm not saying they would not have won, given the kind of bowling that Prasidh did in the last over, but still, these are small things that cost India the game. 224 runs is a huge target. And imagine after scoring 224 runs, after being on top for majority of the match, and you lose the match of the last 12 balls, the kind of disappointment. It kind of reminds you of the defeat at the hands of Australia previously as well. Somehow you managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Champions don't play like this, and if you have to be champions, you have to have that winning mindset. You can't be satisfied, you can't get happy with finishing second. No, you can't be too friendly with the opposition. No, you should be ruthless. This was India's chance to have a 3-0 lead in the series, an unassailable lead, and they gave that away to the opposition. Now Australia can regroup and fight back, and it may be that India get defeated in the next two games. This is T20, anything can happen, but the game can very well turn right away. And India are without their star players. These are young IPL players trying to make their mark. But they have had plenty of matches. Once again, Glenn Maxwell showed why he is the MVP of T20 cricket. And he has been in remarkable form. Ever since that game against Afghanistan in the World Cup, he hasn't looked behind. He can hit balls in all sorts of angles. And credit goes to Maxwell because he picked his spots, took calculated risks, and it paid off. And India never bowled a single Yorker to him. They played into his hands. For most of the time, they didn't have any plan against him. Just like they didn't have any plan against Travis Head at the World Cup final, they didn't have any plan against Glenn Maxwell. Glenn Maxwell struggles when the ball is bowled full to him. Jasprit Bumrah bowled him out numerous times, but there wasn't a single Yorker bowled. And today, Travis Head struggles in the short pitch delivery. And what happened today in the very second short pitch delivery that Avesh Khan bowled, he was caught at fine leg. These are the small things, these small tactical things that India need to improve. And in the World Cup final, they didn't bowl short pitch delivery to Travis Head. Everyone knows that Travis Head is very poor when it comes to short pitch bowling. But the Indian think tank, the Indian bowlers somehow forget these things. They somehow forget these things, they somehow fail to implement these tactics. And Prasidh Krishna cost India the game today. Absolutely. And India should be very concerned because the next batch of fast bowlers aren't looking good at all. Arshdeep Singh, unfortunately, is not good. Let the truth be told, despite what the commentators would be going gaga over, Arshdeep Singh is not at all good for Indian cricket. Giving away 44 runs in 4 overs, going at 11 runs per over, isn't good bowling. Even in the last match, he gave away plenty of runs. So in every match, he's going for either 9 runs or 10 runs per over. What's the use of having bowlers like that? They will not win you games. You have to score over 200 runs and not yet still feel comfortable. How many more runs will you need? Prasidh Krishna went for 15 runs per over. Absolutely unbelievable. India should have never lost that game. It's a huge disappointment. Thousands of people who came to watch that game would go back thoroughly disappointed. The crowd were left speechless and disappointed as well at India's poor performance. They should have never lost that game. Absolutely very poor from Team India and very poor attitude from Suryakumar Yadav as well. He needs to improve on his captaincy. And if India are to have any chance of winning the T20 World Cup next year, they need to win these key moments and not let teams back into the game. They keep on doing this in every match. After being on top, they somehow manage to let teams back into the game. Australia were 44 for 3 in the World Cup final with Steven Smith back in the pavilion. And somehow India managed to allow Marcus Labuschagne and Travis Head to have a partnership of 192 runs that eventually cost us the game. So, despite being on top, despite having secured an advantage, somehow we managed to give it away and let other teams back into the game. Today, Australia were 5 down. They were staring down the barrel when Matthew Wade came into bat. And somehow again, we managed to let them back into the game. And what happened in the end? They held their nerves. We didn't. They won. And we have to accept that we came second once again. History always remembers the team who wins, who came first. Nobody remembers who came second. There is no use playing 10 matches good and losing the last one. No one will remember who came second. For all the greatness, for all the remarkable achievement, the people will remember you that you are chokers. You have choked at the very end. There's a huge disappointment for Team India. Lots of lessons need to be learned from this defeat, and hopefully, some of them might be corrected in the next game. Let me know in the comment section what you feel, and if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.